Yo, hello everyone, I am Silly Squirrel.
And I am Master Rein.
And we are ReviveMeBroGames, a gaming podcast where two best amigos discuss cooperative games, multiplayer games, and so much more. How you doing, my man? How you doing, Master Rein?
Doing well, my brother. Doing well. Can't complain. Just playing. And if everybody see me on stream, we're playing Gundam recently, which has been amazing. Because I'm actually kind of okay at the game. But other than that, that's making me feel good in life. If I did good in the game, I'm doing good in life.
Okay, I guess if you think you're good, that's fine. No, it's I mean, we will talk about that game eventually, right? Real soon, but I kind of I'm liking it. We finally got the full squad to play, and those were we have yet to win one, but man, those games were fun.
Well, with you on stream, we do win them much as soon as you hop off.
I heard. Which makes no sense to me. No sense. It really doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like in terms of kills and getting the stuff, it's just weird. I'm I told Sapito, I'm I don't get it. What is this? Is the algorithm against me? What the heck?
You just gotta keep playing, brother. You just gotta keep playing it. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You'll feel it. If you'll feel it out, it's a feeling, dude.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we've been playing that.
Yep.
Well, what else have we been playing? Have you been playing a lot of Legend of Zelda, right?
Just kind of here and there whenever I have time, but I'm trying to pick it up a lot more. Yeah. I'm planning on hopefully playing something maybe like what's it called, Hyrule Warriors. I would love to play it on stream. So, and it's multiplayer. So I wish it was. Is it multiplayer online? That's something I should try to find out.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure our guest right now is dying to speak right now.
Let us know.
So let me introduce before we introduce our speaker, a quick PSA for the podcast. We are available anywhere you get your podcast. So that means Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify. We're there. Of course, also on YouTube, usually a few days after we release the podcast. If you listen to us on If you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. And if you do, send us a screenshot to our Instagram page, and we will mail you some goodies. A few of you have already done that, so thank you so much for those reviews. We really appreciate it. We've had some really, really cute reviews. And last but not least, also please check out our YouTube page where we post some of our Twitch live streams and among other stuff. But anyway, let's get...
All right, my sibling and Hylia, I am foaming at the mouth right now. Trying to hold my tongue.
All right, so this is the one and only... wait, do we agree to one name? Xinna, right? Xinna, okay. So our guest today...
It's Xinna, not Xinna.
Our guest today, as you may have heard, is someone very special to me. My very own brother, Xinna. Of course, a fellow gamer, and I would like to call him a Nintendo connoisseur. So, I think he's perfect for this pod today. He's our go-to person for everything regarding Nintendo, and I am so excited to have him joining us to provide some perspective on the latest 2 Nintendo Directs. How are you doing, my brother?
Welcome.
Thank you. Personally, I prefer the terms Nintendo slut or Nintendo, but a Nintendo connoisseur does work.
To each their own.
Nintendo, wait a minute. Can I gain that title as well, actually?
Nintendo.
Clap that ass for Nintendo.
Yeah, but...
Sorry.
Yeah, but then I get at least 30% of your royalties if you're gonna use. If you're gonna
Yeah,
use
dude,
it.
I was gonna offer you 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, 40. I said 40.
Oh snap.
But I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me in your podcast.
Of course.
Very excited to speak all things Nintendo today. And we're doing a special 2 directs in one. How fun!
Double direct.
I know.
Two
I figured
Ds,
might as
double
well
D.
make a package pod. We it just worked out that way. Where it's like Nintendo was giving out 2 directs, and I'm like, hey, I guess we're not too late for the party. So, pretty excited. Pretty excited. So, was there anything you wanted to say regarding Hyrule Warriors? I could feel you really shaking there when Master Rain mentioned Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I actually just finished wiping the foam that was coming out of my mouth because I couldn't speak.
Foaming at the mouth.
So Hyrule Warriors, the one that ties up to Breath of the Wild. Unfortunately, it doesn't have online multiplayer, but it does have local co-op, and it is just such a fun game. I've always said, how they had Hyrule Warriors that came out in the Wii U a couple of years ago, and then they have this one, Age of Calamity. So the biggest difference between both games is that Hyrule Warriors, the first one, is a Warriors game with a Zelda skin.
Interesting. Okay.
Right? Meanwhile, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a Legend of Zelda game with Warriors gameplay.
Interesting.
So it's two totally different styles, and it works so well. Age of Calamity does some really good stuff to give you more characterization for the champions, really takes the story in a really interesting direction, and just overall was a fantastic experience. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And thank you for that. Yeah. And actually, now that you say that, I definitely. So I was actually playing Breath of the Wild and Hyrule Warriors at the same time. So I was playing some of those areas at the same time, seeing the history and seeing the quote unquote present at the same time. So I was like, damn, this person's dead, but this person's badass, but damn, look at this shit. Yeah, no, it's I haven't finished either game, but I'm planning on hopefully finishing them on stream.
Good, that's exciting.
Or at least one of them, at least.
No, I think the only one I've been playing so far has been Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
I've yet to finish it, but I've been playing that, and I have Majora's Masks on the 3DS.
Ooh.
And before you say anything else, yes, I know it's on the Switch, but
Still,
at this point, I don't want to restart it.
yeah, exactly, dude. It's a long game.
But also, not only that, but also the 3DS version does have a lot of quality of life updates that make it better and an easier experience, because the Nintendo 64 is notorious for being a difficult game, and it's really hard to keep up with all of the side quests that happen, which are all very important to the story.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And in the 3DS, they introduced the Bomber's Notebook, I think it is, that kind of lets you have an archive of all the side quests.
Yes,
you can find certain
yes.
where it's very helpful.
And it tells you the time and everything.
Yes.
No, it's very helpful. Yeah, I agree.
Dude, I literally had to have the manual for that game on my side playing it, dude. Because if I wanted to get the Omni mask, whatever it's called, the Fierce Deity mask, Fierce Deity mask, I was like, this is the only way. It's so tough to get all of those masks and to know when is the right time. But we can go on and on about Zelda. And I mean, honestly, we should do a podcast on that soon.
Oh, absolutely. That is, Majora's Mask is the one Legend of Zelda game that I have not been able to finish, only because of just it makes me anxious, basically.
Same.
Dude,
just trying to finish everything. I get to a point where I want to be able to complete all of the storylines all in one timeline, so that when I do get to the end, all of the loose ends are tied up. But the way the game is, it doesn't
never gonna
allow
let you do that. Yeah,
so
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might be able to tie up one storyline, but then something else is gonna be left like unchecked and it's never gonna be resolved, or it's like in the first dungeon, like the monkey's gonna get executed, but it's okay because you saved the land, and it's like there's a part of me that's like, that's not okay, really. But okay.
Xinna, have you ever seen the ending of it? I'm trying to remember. Some of those answers may come to light in the ending, because it's a strange ending too. Strange, yeah, very strange.
Well,
probably the
hopefully I'll
strangest
get
of all
there
the Legend of Zeldas, in my opinion, other than the one where Link just hits an island from a boat. I forget what that one's called.
Oh, that one
Not Link to the
is
Past. No, that's not. Link's Awakening.
Awakening.
That one's a strange one too.
yeah, the Switch remake was lovely.
Hell yeah! That's good to know. That was a really good one.
Just first thing, before we begin the actual breakdown of the Nintendo Direct from September 13, I have 3 questions for you. What are your top 3 favorite games? What are you currently playing? And what is the best co-op memory or game that you have?
All right. These are very, very heavy questions. I am very blindsided by them.
Dude, just the load on your face,
No, just
bro.
kidding.
Just bang, loco.
¿Verdad? So my top 3 favorite games are Bayonetta 2, Okami, and Animal Crossing.
Whoa.
Mm.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okami. I like how you pronounce
Yeah,
it, too.
Okami, I can definitely see that. So debating that. Animal Crossing, I'm a bit surprised, but I think that's more of a is that more of like lately it's become one of your favorite games?
No, I've actually, I wish I could have like an overall life counter as to how many hours I put into Animal Crossing, but between my 3DS and my Nintendo Switch, I have put at the very least 1,500 hours into Animal Crossing overall.
Oh my god, dude.
I am like, I wish I was kidding, but no, I had about like 800 hours on my 3DS, and I am at about 5
Bro,
to
they
6.
call you Noah, dude. You crossed every animal.
Yeah.
Not Noah.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I'm glad our very Christian education really like this is what we studied for.
This is what it was all about.
But no, like Bayonetta 2 and Okami are very near and dear to my heart. Like Okami, I've owned Okami on the PlayStation 2, on the Wii, on PC, and on the Switch. And I beat it like every single time. It is just a beautiful, beautiful game. It is, for me, it is a beautiful experience. And then Bayonetta 2 is just super fun, and I am actually like, as October rolls by and Bayonetta 3 is like closer and closer to release, I am just like, I tell my friends every day, like, Bayonetta 3 is coming out in 20 days. Bayonetta 3 is coming out in 17 days. Like, I am so ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the second question is, what are you currently playing?
I am currently playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It has been kind of amazing. I have cried, I have laughed, I have like been emotional, like angry about it and stuff. It's been a very, very great game. I would not be surprised if it was at least nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards this year. I actually just beat the main story this week.
Okay.
And I'm now working on like post-game things and side content and stuff, and it's just there's DLC that was on the Direct. It was revealed that DLC is going to be coming out really soon, in a couple of days if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm very excited to keep going. It has been probably one of the better like RPGs that I've played in quite a while.
Nice. Yeah, I know you've been tweeting about it a lot lately.
Yes, currently my Twitter name is Xenodork Chronicles.
I love it.
Follow me on Twitter.
Xenaroll on Twitter.
Yeah, cool. No, I need a. I haven't played a good JRPG in a long time. I miss that. Anyway, so best co-op memory or game?
Um, one of my like favorite, one of the best co-op memories that I've had is actually when you and I were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jet Force Gemini on the Nintendo 64,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always play as Floyd, the little robot that flies around with you, and you basically have like infinite bullets. Yep. We had finally gotten to the very end, which required you to collect every single godforsaken collectible in the game. Yep. You had to get literally everything to get to the final boss, which was very ballsy of them, but it
because if I may add, like, you had to like rescue every single tribal. And that doesn't mean like if they die, it counts, because sometimes they can die. It's literally rescuing every single one of them alive. And sometimes you'd have to restart a level because this little head would get right in front of you while you're rocketing some bugs, and he would blow into pieces. Oh. And you're like, no.
Yep. And so you know, you can imagine the trauma of like spending 35 minutes in a level trying to find every single goddamn teddy bear in the level, just for it to be like, hey, I'm here, as you're about to pull the trigger on a rocket launcher, and then you just see red splatters everywhere, and you're just like, I'm gonna stop now.
But yeah, so we get to the final boss. You're controlling the robot.
We finally get to the final boss, and like, a homeboy does not pull any punches. Yeah. It is a very difficult boss fight. Ooh, I dropped my mic. It is a very difficult boss fight, and you were starting to run out of ammo, and I remember my finger was hurting from just pressing Z so many times just to shoot this motherfucker. Oh, and
goodness.
We ended up beating it. We ended up like actually beating the game, and like there's a whole other sequence that happens, and it's really sad. But like, we were just screaming the entire time because it was just so intense, and like such a like culmination of us trying for many years actually to beat this goddamn game.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember, and it was those boss fights were a lot of fun. Like, thanks for sharing, man. I vividly remember those days when we used to play Jet Force Gemini. None of our friends had Jet Force Gemini. I think we were the only ones that had Jet Force Gemini. So whenever we talked about Jet Force Gemini, it was like, what now? It's like, yeah, Jet Force Gemini. Like, what are you talking about?
I know. People would be like, oh yeah, that fucking game that y'all love playing.
Yeah, really.
Y'all were fans of it.
Still am. And actually,
still are. Hell yeah,
there was something in the Nintendo Direct in September that really gives me hope that it might come back.
Yeah, if GoldenEye
I
can
did
come
see
back.
people like fool around trying to remaster it, so I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, so let's move ahead then. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about the actual Nintendo Direct. So what we're gonna do here is we're not gonna talk about every single game out there. We're just gonna mention a few of like our highlights, and then at the end of once we get to the end of the Nintendo Direct, we may like mention a few of the games that we didn't talk about, like rather quickly or not. Who cares? And then after all that, we're gonna talk about of course the recent Nintendo Direct regarding the Super Mario movie. And so let's start there. So the first game on the Nintendo Direct was Fire Emblem Engage. Let me tell you that I've only played one Fire Emblem game, and it was the Game Boy Advance one. I really liked it. I never got to play the 3D Fire Emblems. I know Master Rein has a little bit of experience about that. Yeah. I think this is great that they're releasing. Fire Emblem has been going hard on the Switch, and I think that type of game really works for like on the go, right? I have nothing to add really besides saying like, well done. Like, Fire Emblem is one of Nintendo's very most consistent IPs in terms of releasing new games. So yeah, no, it's just more Fire Emblem, and I'm sure like the fans will be happy to sink their teeth on another JRPG like this.
You know, funny that you say teeth. The main character does look like a bottle of toothpaste.
Love it.
Oh my god, it does. It actually does.
Bottle of toothpaste. Too good.
I mean, let's just say the hair was a choice.
The hair was a choice.
Oh
dude.
god, totally. It's like the character looks so different compared to like basically everyone else.
Yeah.
Like it's too different.
You know, I guess if the game is good, everyone will deal with it, right? But we'll see. The cool thing to me, I guess not cool, but we'll see. The thing that kind of like stands out to me is obviously the fact that they have so many characters from all these other Fire Emblems coming in, and so hopefully the game can stand on its own enough to where you're not so psyched about having, you know, Ike or whatever hop into the match, or Marth or whatever, you know, hop in. It's just like, okay, it really should be just about, you know, the game, but we'll see. Hopefully it all works well.
I'm interested to see, the direction that they take with it in terms of being able to basically summon heroes from Fire Emblem. It reminds me almost of the mobile game where you can use any of the heroes from the Fire Emblem series, like to do fights. But it also reminds me of this game that was on the Wii U and got taken to the Switch, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. It is a combination of Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei. So it's where and so in the game, these people, they're kind of like able to summon for lack of a better word, like a persona. And the quote unquote persona is a Fire Emblem character. So you have like Chrom, you have Ike for completely. Ike is actually not in it, no, because it's like the characters only get one, and so it's like, and it's a little bit of everyone. So there's Chrom, there's like Celica, I think, or Sita is her name. Okay. There's Chrom, there's Sita, there's a couple other ones from like some of the older games. Like a lot of the villains make an appearance, and it's all very like kind of a love letter to Fire Emblem, but with like Persona / Tokyo Shin Megami Tensei gameplay. So like the idea that you can kind of like summon a hero through these rings reminds me of that.
Nice. That's pretty cool. No, that's a good. It's like you can summon all these heroes, like you said, and these battles. It'll be interesting to see how they implement the Fire Emblem gameplay with that idea. I think it's pretty fresh for Fire Emblem. So, looking forward to it. Master Rein?
No more comments, I guess.
Cool. So moving on. It Takes Two was the second game, and all I gotta say is it's about damn time.
Yeah,
like,
big
this
time.
game it's one of, you know, it won like multiple awards. I think it won Game of the Year.
It did.
2
it
years
won Game
ago,
of the
right?
Year. Yeah,
it's like 2 years ago, and it's like, and now it shows up to the Switch. It's I mean, better late than never. But it was like, if there was one game I thought was like destined to be in the Switch, it was this
absolutely,
one.
dude.
It won Game of the Year for the Game Awards last year, actually.
Oh, last year. Oh, okay. So, but I mean, you know, it's been a year, and
That's recent still, you know.
Yeah, and I get that there's all these like technological, like it's always been the case with Nintendo, right? Where it's like games tend to have to go through a whole remake in order for them to make it to the Switch.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it's going to be in the Nintendo Switch. I really do think there's a huge community in the Nintendo Switch that will be able to play this game. It's a phenomenal co-op game that sadly we haven't played yet. I know, crazy. This is a solid title for Nintendo's library.
Yeah, all y'all people with partners, with wives, and everything, like all y'all married and partnered people, like play this game with your significant other. It is just the pinnacle of couch co-op experience.
Dude, one of us is gonna have to stream it, dude, with our wife.
I know.
With one of our wives,
yeah. And then the third game, Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Wow, does Nintendo need a lot of like scary games in their library? And this is awesome. You know, like this game. I remember. I didn't play it on the PlayStation, but I do remember like I had a friend who had it, and I also, you know, I watch it on YouTube of people doing Let's Plays, and like, oh man, like this game's great. This game's scary. This game was like the original Outlast before Outlast was a thing. So I'm excited for this one. I'm actually debating whether I should get it or not when it comes out.
Nice, dude.
I feel like you should. It'd be fun.
Yeah, but I'm kind of I wish I was more into. Like, I'd rather see other people play than play it myself.
I honestly have never actually played a Fatal Frame game, so
I'm glad that other developers and other companies are branching out and bringing games like Fatal Frame into Nintendo, because a lot of people correlate Nintendo with just like kids or like
That's
children's
true, yeah.
video games.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you know, every single one of my friends has a Nintendo Switch, and we're all adults. We're all like 30-year-olds.
Yeah, that's true, dude. Like they really should cater to the more mature audience, which is good that they actually are. I mean, if they know their audience, literally everyone plays the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Oh wow. So with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, we saw the expansion. It is bringing a battle mode, basically, like a trial mode where you can fight very difficult fights and get some rewards out of it. You get some costumes for the characters, and they're also introducing a new hero. A cool thing about Xenoblade is that your main party is 6 characters who are always there. They are always like in the field with you.
Okay.
So obviously, like battles are gonna be like pretty very lively. The battles are very lively because there's 6 people fighting at the same time. And heroes are a 7th party member that you can switch out, right?
Interesting. Okay.
They work a little more independently, so you can't control them or anything, but they're a very big asset, and so they're adding a hero. And she's gonna be a little different from the other heroes. She's gonna have like her own skill tree that you have to upgrade. It seems that she's gonna have her own little like side story, which is exciting. And I'm excited to see like how they kind of add her and implement her into the lore, and what like the story beats for this character is gonna be. My only concern is that from the trailer, it sounds like she speaks like this, like she speaks very baby. And I personally have a bit of a low tolerance to characters that speak like they're 5.
Yes,
Yeah,
you know, and most of the voice actors are like in their 30s, and they're like, I have to talk like this.
Yeah, pitch, the highest pitch it can do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, a lot of the characters in Xenoblade, like, you know, the main cast they're all like, you know, they don't speak like that, basically. Like a lot of the characters don't really speak like that. Actually, one of my favorite characters, she has like a full ass Cockney accent. Yeah, she's very much like you're looking at me, innit? Like, stuff like that. It's very like, and she's very vulgar and stuff, so it's fun. So it's a very superficial concern, but we'll see where it goes.
All right, cool. I personally think that whenever games do that, you always have to think about the what would you call it? Like, you always have to think about the region of the character. That, like, you know, for example, if this person has a Cockney accent, does that mean like the Japanese voice actor is also doing like an accent of sorts because this person's supposed to be from the north or the south? You know what I mean? And I know they've done that sometimes with voice actors because they want to make sure that that character is clearly different from wherever the main character is, or vice versa. I've never played a Xenoblade game, or even a Xenosaga game, but I do know that these are a huge hit in the Switch community, and of course, I know you play it a lot, so that's awesome. I think it was a wonderful announcement, right?
Yes.
Man, the graphics looks amazing, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, no, the voice acting in Xenoblade hasn't been bad at all. It's been pretty solid. A lot of really good characterization. I enjoy it. I know a lot of people had a lot of like issues with the voice acting for Xenoblade 2, but that's a whole other can of worms. Okay. Xenoblade 3, solid, very very solid. Yeah.
So we're gonna skip a few games here. So if you're hoping to, hear what we have to say about, I don't know, Oddballers, sorry, brah.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip some of these. Octopath Traveler 2. Do any of you guys have anything to say about this game? Which I know, like, for the Switch, it was a big deal.
I have nothing to say about that game because I've never played it. Other than the fact that, again, I love that Nintendo just, they have a wide audience. They know how to reach them.
My only hope for Octopath Traveler 2 is that the stories are a little more interconnected and the characters are able to interact more. I know a big issue that people had with the first one was that characters didn't really interact with each other during certain story beats. I know personally, Mass Effect has kind of spoiled me into where when you have characters in your party, they're gonna say something.
Mass Effect was too good, dude.
Yeah.
With the bars, Mass Effect is high, dude.
Can see that. Yes.
Yeah. Mass Effect ruined the bar.
Yeah, dude. Elevated it too high.
But
it said, fuck your bar.
Yeah. It really did something where, like, you have whatever party member in your party and they would say something, they would comment something, and they would, like, it would reflect their own personal worldviews and stuff. And that's something that in Octopath Traveler, especially like after you were completing some storylines where characters interact a little and like important things happen, and then all of a sudden everyone in the background is just quiet for the rest of the game. It's just kind of like okay, well, their story's wrapped up, so now they just fight, and that's it.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah. It's kind of a letdown.
That's kind of a what do you call it? A
letdown. Yeah. Mass Effect. Yeah. But you know what? Watching that trailer though, those visuals. I'm gone on visuals. Like the 2D, like spray animations with like the 3D surrounding area. It looks really cool, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It looks really cool, and how some of those fights are done.
I do think that for me the art of the game is absolutely gorgeous. Yes. It's probably some of the best pixel art I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that just, I feel like that's just a really nice plus when it comes to like an old school 2D JRPG, but with just beautiful graphics.
Oh no, it's beautiful graphics. Like those fight scenes are just like the particle effect is very nice, very nice. Because like we've all played that type of game growing up, but it's just like that nice like. It just looks like such a good like quality of life update in a sense, right?
See, no, totally. And it's like it just makes me wonder, like, what would an updated Chrono Trigger
dude, yes, like, whole day, every day,
like that would look so nice.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Hey, Nintendo, get on that, please.
Yesterday. 3 years ago,
I want to order a one Chrono Trigger remastered.
Not remake,
please.
Remastered.
So can we get a remake, please?
Actually, speaking of remakes, there was that one remake for Trials of Mana that like they completely built the game from the ground up, 3D.
Oh yeah.
And when I was playing it, I was thinking to myself, you know what? A Chrono Trigger remake that looks like this would not be bad. I feel like it would be pretty good.
Honestly, that's like one of those games where it's like Nintendo, like, what the like, if there's a game that deserves a remake or a remaster, it's that one. Like, I think maybe Secrets of Mana was that experiment.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on. Like, anyway, I know we're talking about Octopath Traveler, and here we are, like, speaking about Chrono Trigger. All right, moving on. we're gonna talk about Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope.
No, we're not. I'm taking it back to Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy because I am excited for Theater Rhythm.
Oh, yeah. No, never mind. Yes, Theater Rhythm, please. My bad. I forgot.
I love a rhythm game. I love Final Fantasy. I have the Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm for the 3DS. So when they announced one for the Nintendo Switch with like new tracks and new gameplay, like visuals and stuff, my ass was very excited. Some of the DLC, I'm excited for the DLC. They've had music from Nier in the DLC. They've had music from Chrono Trigger, and like extra tracks from the other games and stuff. So I'm very excited to like go into it and get the DLC and play the tracks and yeah, very, very excited about that. That was a highlight for me.
When I first saw that, I'm like, really? Okay. I didn't know how to react, to be honest. But I mean, like Master Rain says, like Nintendo know their consumers.
They know their consumers.
I mean, you're definitely
fucking know.
Yeah, you're definitely a consumer, and you're like, yes, give me more dancing games. All right, cool.
Two types of people over here, just like, can we skip over
no,
this? And I'm like,
they have
yes,
a direct
queen!
access to certain people's wallets. Like direct, they have everything that they need. It just as soon as they put that game out, ka-ching. But they also know how to do it well. It's a good thing. Yeah.
It's
true.
It's one of those instances where. No, never mind. I can't make that joke.
All right, everyone. We're going to take a really quick break right now. Stay tuned for this little ad that we have for you guys. And we'll be back after these messages. And we're back. What's up, everybody? We're going to keep going here with the rest of the games of the Nintendo Direct. Master Rain had to go take a break. And he will be with us on the Zelda portion of the podcast. So right around the very end. Or somewhat close to the very end. But anyway, Xinna, it's just you and me now. And we got a few games to talk about. And this is actually one that I'm like, ooh, can't wait.
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64 expansion. Now, for me, this was the announcement of the Direct.
Yes!
For me, this, like, I think Nintendo has really been sucky when it comes to the NES and Super Nintendo games that they've released. But so far, the Nintendo 64 has been their best library. And the games that they're releasing are exactly the games that everyone's been asking for. So, without further ado, we're getting Pilot Wings 64, which... to be honest, I could care less, but okay, cool. Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, which is just incredible.
And not just Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 with online multiplayer.
Phenomenal. Like that is a game changer for me. It's like I like the two Super Mario games that are on the Switch right now are not bad, but they could be better.
Yes.
The first, what was it, like Super Mario Party for the Switch or whatever, was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was fun for the first like 2 months, and then it just kind of died down. For that game, I do feel like Nintendo really wasted an opportunity for DLC. They could have added more. They could have added at least more boards. Like they only had, if I'm not mistaken, four boards or 4 like game maps or whatever. And it just felt like a wasted opportunity. It was the perfect game to add DLC where you could introduce new minigames or even introduce like new play styles, new characters, new maps kind of thing. It was like kind of the perfect opportunity for them to like have this like the Mario Party on the Switch, and we'll just keep adding to it.
I agree.
Like the fact that they never added DLC to it is disappointing. It was a wasted opportunity. So having Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, which are just very solid games, and then being online multiplayer is just a very exciting prospect.
Yeah, no. And I mean, Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 are very well fondly remembered. They're very fun games, and I don't know. It's just like that's awesome to know that we're getting all three of them and that we can play them with literally everyone. I'm just looking forward to it. And then we got a Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
Yes.
Which is still, it's like, wow. I have fond memories of Pokemon Stadium 2, which is also probably my favorite generation, the Silver and Gold generation. I think it's a huge win, the fact that we're getting these classic games. I mean, 1080 was a game I was just talking about the other day with some coworkers of a good snowboarding game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I cannot wait to play 1080 snowboard. Excite Bike, I could care less, but I know it was kind of a hit in the 64 days.
It is a hit for, yeah. I'm sure there are tons of people who are very excited for Excite Bike.
Yeah. I just never really got to play it.
We just never played it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, of course, the one I never, ever thought they were going to get. I literally was like, I don't see it. I do not see it coming. And they got it. They got it. I cannot believe they got it. GoldenEye. And you know what this does? This just opens up the doors to so many more games.
Oh, man, Silly. You stole the words out of my mouth. Like, I'm so excited. When they announced GoldenEye, I was screaming. I never expected it, and as you said, it opens the doors for so many more like games, licensed games to come into the virtual console, and also rare games. Like we have Banjo-Kazooie in the library, and I just hope they keep adding more rare games, because that means that Banjo-Tooie might make it, Donkey Kong 64 could make it, Jet Force Gemini could make it. Games that were just so quintessential to the Nintendo 64.
No, same. It just, I mean, if there's ever been the tease, that's it. Like, I can only imagine, like, like you said, a Jet Force Gemini, or even, like, why am I blanking here? Or more, like, Rareware games, so we already have Banjo-Kazooie, right? Maybe Banjo-Tooie, who knows, like, Donkey Kong 64 would be kind of cool. I don't know, it's just like GoldenEye, I never expected that. I never did, and
Yeah.
It's just a treat knowing that we're getting that game and that we can play it online with other people. And
I mean, at its prime, GoldenEye was the pinnacle of like the FPS co-op, or not co-op, the FPS multiplayer experience. It was GoldenEye. Oh, you know what else? It opens the doors for Perfect fucking Dark.
Oh, yeah, duh. That's true. Perfect Dark. How can we forget? Yeah,
I know.
I mean, I know you can play those in the Xbox, but to have it on the Nintendo 64 with the controller, which are now they're more available, or at least more often now. I have mine, thankfully. I paid the price, the $50 that is priced at, nothing more, nothing less. Overall, a phenomenal announcement. Absolutely happy with that announcement. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm looking forward to more.
Me too. I'm very excited for all of these Nintendo 64 games to come in. I'm very excited for just them continuing to put these virtual console games out. Hopefully there will be a Game Boy Advance virtual console at some point.
Woo!
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that would be.
But it's exciting. I'm glad that I have played a lot of Mario Golf and Mario Tennis on the virtual console, and it's just like kind of a way for people our age that grew up with these games to reconnect with it without having to go through the gymnastics of finding a Nintendo 64 and buying the games and paying like a lot of money to be able to like have these nostalgic experiences all over again. I'm very happy that they're doing this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So moving on. Factorio. I'll just quickly say that this is a hit on the PCs. It is an incredibly addicting game. Set in another planet, and you have to basically grab resources and build, basically a factory in order to. I think the idea is to like try to build a spaceship and then like leave. I may be getting this wrong, or maybe even confusing the games, but Factorio is one of those games that is a huge hit on PC, and it absolutely fits the mold of a Switch game. You know, that indie game that you wish you could play while you're in the bathroom. You know, like this is it. So
Yeah.
really excited to see a PC darling making it to the Switch. And props again to Nintendo for really pushing on the indie with indie developers trying to get their games. Especially nowadays, like I feel like the past 4 to 5 years, there's been a huge like push for like very 2D or very like not AAA games that look great. You know, I'm thinking like, you know, your Bastions, your Transistors, your Hades. I mean, I know those are all from like almost the same
Those
studio.
are literally all from Supergiant.
I know. So I'm thinking also like, for example, I'm thinking like Darkwood. You know, obviously
Yeah.
Factorio. I'm thinking like A Way Out. Like, just games that are not necessarily AAA, but
Yeah.
that there's a following, and
Yes.
you know, I really do appreciate Nintendo really saying like, "Hey, bring me your games." You know.
Yes. And I think one of the best things about like what's happening with more games being accessible on the Switch is the Switch does have something that other consoles do not have, and it is the accessibility to it. You can take your Switch wherever you want. You know, I never in a million years thought that I would be able to play Skyrim, for example, while sitting at an airplane, like flying over to California or something like that. Like,
Oh,
you
nice.
know, Nintendo really has been able to perfect the portable experience. And so having a game like Factorio on the Switch,
Yeah.
it just adds to that excitement of like, oh my god, I can be at the airport and play Factorio and not have to worry about like, and just switch it off whenever I want, and just you know, yeah, have that accessibility to it.
So moving on, because we have a few more games we need to discuss here. Rather quickly, Mario Strikers Battle League expansion. I will say having what's her name, Rosaline, right?
No,
No.
Pauline.
Pauline. I apologize. Having Pauline as a downloadable character for free and Diddy Kong is a great step. I'm just really scared that Nintendo will probably give us like one more DLC for this game, and then we'll never hear from it again. I've been playing it, and it's definitely a fun game, but it has the same problem that most of these Nintendo games have, where it feels lackluster. And what I mean by that, it's like it just feels like they're missing stuff. And
that's been a thing with the Mario sports games for the Nintendo Switch. They feel, when they come out, they feel incomplete.
exactly.
And then they add DLC, and it starts getting better as the DLC comes by. They add quality of life updates. They add like Mario Tennis, like the vanilla Mario Tennis and the fully updated Mario Tennis. Like the menus are different. The just the quick play is different. It's wild to think that they would release a game like that. Sorry, I kind of like lost my train of thought. My point is, it's unfortunate that they've kind of taken this approach with the sports games. I am glad to see Pauline get the love that she's been getting, and I hope that they're able to continue to give more expansions and add to the roster and add more elements to the game, so that in a year it feels like a very exciting and hefty and full game.
Yeah, and like definitely with Mario Strikers, after playing it for a bit, I was the one thing that absolutely bothers me is playing the same like set of team members, so to speak. Let me put it this way: you play a cup, right? And you pick your characters. You pick, let's say, Donkey Kong, Mario, Luigi, and Peach, right? You go and you play against the first team, and it's let's say Wario, Luigi, Daisy, and Luigi, or just to name four. And then
now
the next team,
now that Daisy was added to the game finally.
yeah, seriously, that's one of my mains, to be honest. And then you go to the next one. It's Daisy, Luigi, Waluigi, and Donkey Kong. And you're like, wait, I just played Daisy, Waluigi, and Luigi. And then you play the third game, and it's Donkey Kong, Waluigi, Daisy, and Toad. And you're like, the hell? It throws me off. I don't like that. And I know it sounds petty, but when you played the Nintendo, the GameCube, and the Wii versions, it used to be that the main characters were captains, and then you had all these like minor characters playing as the rest of your team. So it always felt like you were playing a different team. You're playing the Waluigi team, you're playing against the Wario team, you're playing against the Mario team. It feels like more teams than they should be, right? Now it's just literally like it all depends on really the characters you pick. And I know there's some strategy involved because, some players are more defensive, some players are more attacking. But I really do miss having that feeling where it's like, I just beat Mario. I'm going to play Waluigi. Crap. My last boss is Wario. Oh my gosh, like he's so hard, or something like that. But
yeah, the older games really did give like the bigger names in the Mario franchise. The older games gave them more heft. They made them more unique as the captains and stuff, and it had like the smaller characters as your teammates, and it felt more organic that way. It felt more like these captains have very unique skills and they're all very powerful and stuff, and then the other players also have their own unique skills, but they are not as strong as the captain. So it gives you a good balance of it, and it makes every team feel unique. It makes every team more believable too.
Yeah,
because in the Mario world, there are a lot of like boos. There are a lot of shy guys. There are a lot of Koopa Troopas. So it would make sense for a team to be like this main character be a captain and all these other characters be players.
Yeah, exactly. But this before this turns into just us bitching about Mario games, I do think this is I think this is a little bit of the right direction for Nintendo. I just hope that they do keep adding DLCs for this game, just like they did with Mario Golf. I think Mario Golf is probably their best example of what a DLC can look like. And so here's to hoping, because I really do like this game. I just wish it had more,
Yeah, I'm not one to play sports games on my systems, but I love a good Mario sports series.
Mm-hmm. And then just rather quickly speaking about Mario Sports Series, Mario Kart, and this is like the complete opposite spectrum where it's like this game has too much. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Wave 3 expansion. I have none of the expansions, and I still have hours to play on Mario Kart. So, you tell me, what do you think about this?
So, Mario Kart was released 8 years ago. It was released in May of 2014. I cannot believe that almost 10 years later, we are still getting Mario Kart 8 content. I mean, it's fun, it's exciting. Mario Kart 8 is a very solid game. I still, almost 10 years down the line, I still get on Mario Kart 8 and do a couple of races every so often. But I do think that a lot of the new stuff could have just been its own game. And I also do have a bit of my personal qualms with the new content for Mario Kart 8 is that they're just pushing a lot of the tracks that are from the mobile game. Grand Prix, I believe it is Mario Kart Grand Prix. They're pushing a lot of the tracks into the Switch now. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the tracks that are quote unquote new are all tracks from the mobile game, and so it almost feels like it's just a way for people to be like, oh wow, that's on the mobile game, I'm gonna download it. And yeah, I've had a few tracks where I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I'm glad that this is on the Switch, but it's turned into the new tracks come out, I play them when they come out, I do a race or two, and then I move back to whatever other game I'm playing. I don't feel myself coming back to it. I don't feel myself I haven't come back to it. I haven't like played online with it or anything. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because Mario Kart 8 is a really good game. It just feels like I feel like it's past its time at this point. And it would have been a little better to do a new Mario Kart game, or even do a new series where it's instead of Mario Kart, because Mario Kart has a lot of like Nintendo characters now. They have the Splatoon characters, they have Link, they have Animal Crossing characters.
Exactly.
Animal Crossing tracks and stuff like that. So they could do a thing where they do just like a Nintendo kart racing kind of thing, where it's like the Smash Bros of Mario Kart, you know? And it gives them so much more. That would give them so much more flexibility, and it would give them so much more like room to do new things and introduce like new tracks. Have like a Metroid track, have like a Kirby track, a Star Fox track and stuff, and it would, like, I feel like that would excite people more than just, hey, these are some tracks that are in the mobile game, here you go. Like, I like it, but I feel like it could be better.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I got really nothing to say about Mario Kart. It's amazing how they keep this Mario Kart 8 alive, and it's just fun. It's like, you do that for Mario Kart, but not for everything else. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Mario Kart 8 came out almost 10 years ago, and it is getting more DLC than Mario Party on the Switch, which has gotten 0 DLC. Actually, 1 DLC, which was just a patch for online gaming.
Moving on about more Nintendo products. Pikmin 4. I think this is a great announcement of a dead IP, in my opinion. And I like that Shigeru Miyamoto was like, this is like my announcement. Out of all of the games, he's like, no. Pikmin 4. This is where I'm going to show up and say all the things I want to say about Pikmin. And it's like, I thought it was pretty cute, because I know this is like a baby for him. This is his baby.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't help but feel like, so, Samus called. She's a bit jealous. Considering...
In her defense, we did get Metroid Dread. Actually,
yes,
at the time of the recording for this pod, Metroid Dread came out exactly a year ago.
That's true.
And that was a very big thing for Metroid fans. But where's Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah,
that was teased how many years ago?
Yeah, no, oh my god. And Metroid Dread is one of those games I need to play.
So
but
good.
you're right. So Pikmin, I think, wonderful announcement. I actually am looking forward to playing a Pikmin game. I've never played a Pikmin game, so hopefully this will be my first chance of playing Pikmin. The iPhone version, I could care less. Moving on. I'm sure a lot of people will find that really cool. I really don't care, but
just the screenshots for the new Pikmin game, it does look great. So I'm excited to see more. I'm excited and optimistic about the direction that they could go with for the new Pikmin game.
Well, and now the next game, and literally I'm taking my gloves off here and being like, go for it, bro. Bayonetta 3. Go for it, bro.
Hi, welcome to the Xinna segment of this podcast where I will tell you everything about Bayonetta 3. I am incredibly excited for this game. Bayonetta is an incredible series. The gameplay has been so fun. I am very excited to see where they're taking the series. I'm excited about the new gameplay elements that they're adding to it. There was a separate trailer. During this direct, it did say that they were going to release a separate trailer, which I watched and dissected and disseminated. And it is that they're doing a lot of, they're adding more to the battle. Like I'm going to start again. They're adding so much more to how you fight in this game. Bayonetta is already like such a fun game to play, and it has such a fun fighting mechanic. And they're adding a lot of really cool elements to it, where like a lot of the demons come out and you fight with and as the demon while Bayonetta is doing her summoning and stuff. And so you have to find a good balance of like fighting as the demon or fighting as Bayonetta, and like, you know, leaving her not as vulnerable while she's doing the summoning. And when I heard about Bayonetta 3, one of the things that I thought about was, how are they gonna build up from the first two games? Because the first game was really fun, the second one was perfect. Like the fighting was perfect, the way you play it just feels good. So I'm like, personally, I'm thinking, how are they going to improve from this? How are they going to build up from something that doesn't need to be built up? And they found a way by adding like these big elements of like summoning the demons and fighting as the demons, and finding a balance between fighting as Bayonetta and fighting as the demons. I have a lot of theories as to the story. I personally, I do believe that you are playing as a younger Bayonetta, as the Bayonetta from... In Bayonetta 1, there is a small child revealed to be a younger version of Bayonetta. I personally believe that you are playing as her, because she acts in a way that is a lot more juvenile. She has the same hairstyle as Cereza, the little girl, and the voice is different. The voice is like just younger sounding, and then they showed someone who looks like an older Bayonetta. So I do feel like it does have a little more of like a, okay, what happened to this child that you helped in the first game? This is what happened to her. Like this is where she's at. So I'm very excited to see where the game goes. I'm very excited about this. I do think it's going to be just a phenomenal action game. Bayonetta is one of those games that, like, if you have a Nintendo Switch, like, just do yourself a favor and get Bayonetta 2 and just enjoy it. It is fun. It is campy. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And like, all of those things are why it makes this series, for me, one of the best series on the Switch.
Yeah, no, I think first of all, I think it's already been confirmed that the character of this new game is the younger little Bayonetta girl we see in what's it called?
Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta 1, thank you. I think it's really cool that they're doing that. I don't know, like, Bayonetta is one of those like action games that I don't understand why more people don't talk about it. Like, the first game I played it on the 360, and it blew my mind on how good it was. And I thought Devil May Cry was like, and God of War were like the chiefs of action games. Nah, man, Bayonetta eats them for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I never got to play Bayonetta 2, but just hearing about Bayonetta 3 and how like Nintendo saved this game and or IP from the brink of death. Like, it's such a cool story. And I really do feel like you said, like, more people need to play these games, because these are the absolute best action games ever made. And like, it doesn't even take itself seriously. It's just it's fun. And like, yes, it's like uber sexy, but trust me, after an hour of playing this game, that's the last thing you'll think of. Like, it's like, at first, like, when I first played the first Bayonetta, I was like, all the hormones were like, woo, like, who's this?
Not
who's
the
this
hormones.
chick? I know, but then but no joke, after playing for like the first hour, like, you're just enraptured by the gameplay. And
So,
at one point, you
fun-
forget about the whole sexiness, and you just kind of just go with it. You go with the humor, you go with the game, and you just want to kick Angel butt. And,
so fun lore for everybody. I actually purchased Bayonetta on the 360 for Silly Squirrel. And it was a gift. I gave it to him as a gift for Christmas one year. And I ended up playing it and beating it on that 360 before he did.
I know.
Just because, like, I remember we started and I was like, this is wild. I need to see this through. And I just started playing it and I could not stop. And I remember afterwards telling Silly Squirrel, like, have you finished that? Have you played it? He's like, no, I haven't really played. I'm like, what are you doing? Do yourself a favor and play this game. And then Bayonetta 2 came out, and just fun little story. When Bayonetta 2 came out for the Wii U a few years ago, it came out with Bayonetta 1 as a package deal, and it came out on a Friday. I got the games, and Saturday night I was beating Bayonetta 2. I had played through Bayonetta 1 and 2 that entire weekend, and that's all I did. I told my friends, like, hey, I'm going to be in my dorm room just playing these games the entire weekend. Like, don't expect anything from me. And some of my friends, they like just sat down and they were like just chilling with me and stuff, because it was just fun. The games are just fun. So if you have not played the Bayonetta games, like, do yourself a favor and just look into it. Try to play the first one or play the second one. Like, skip the first one and play the second one.
Yeah,
it is an experience. It's so much fun, and yeah, I am foaming at the mouth. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I know you are. When I heard about this, I'm like, oh, my brother is probably just going nuts.
Actually, all my friends messaged me when the direct aired. No, not this one. Sorry. When the previous direct aired and they had a Bayonetta 3 announcement, I couldn't watch it like live, and literally all of my friends were sending me like the eyes emoji, just like the two eyes looking. They were all sending me the emojis, just like waiting for me to say something about it. And then once I did, they were like, there it is.
Okay, so last 3 games we'll talk about really quickly. Resident Evil Village Cloud, and Resident Evil, what is it? Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 7, 2, and 3? Wait, I'm confused. Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2.
Yes, actually. Resident Evil, it's 7, 2, and 3 are going to be available for the cloud, and Village as well.
So this one kind of has me scratching my head a little bit, because it's like, I understand that the Switch probably can't handle these games, so having it being available on the cloud is not a bad idea. If it works, it might open up it might make other games kind of go towards this route where it's like, Resident Evil had a really good, had a lot of downloads on the Switch, and who knows, maybe Cyberpunk maybe you can play it on Switch via cloud. Like, that's a possibility. I know, like, streaming games is more of a thing on like the Xbox and the PlayStation. So this one, it's like, I'll believe it till I see it. I don't know what to expect. But I do appreciate the experiment.
Yes, I appreciate that they're doing this for these games. Again, it'll be one of those things where older people who have a Switch, or I'm gonna start again. Um, I do think that it is great to have these games available for adults who want to play Resident Evil on their Switch. My concern is the cloud versions limit what players can do because you need an internet connection. So, what I was saying earlier, where I love being able to play Skyrim in the airport. You're not going to be able to do that with cloud games. And the thing is, like, Nier Automata just came out for the Nintendo Switch, and it's not a cloud game. It is like just a full game, like, and it is being praised left and right for running beautifully, working beautifully, looking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And Nier Automata is a game that's on the PS4, and it was like heavily praised for its graphics and everything on the PS4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with Nier, we can see that it can be done. So for me, it's just like it's cool that they're bringing it, but like, hey, Nier Automata can play on the Switch perfectly. Like, y'all can do this, because Kingdom Hearts is on the Switch as a cloud version as well, and it was
I didn't know that.
Big,
okay.
Yeah, it was a big flop. The cloud versions were really buggy. They were really slow. You basically needed to have an Ethernet cable connected to the Switch at all times to be able to play it kind of functionally. It was bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
All right, well, there's that. That's really anything we can talk about these games. I mean, if you want to check out a review, go check out the hundreds of YouTube videos that talk about these games. But this is ballsy for Capcom to try on the Switch. Hopefully they don't fail miserably like they did like Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's a very interesting experiment. Yes. I really do. And if it does end up working, I think you can no longer say Nintendo can't handle it, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm also scared that maybe that'll make them more lazy. But anyway, I don't want to even go there. But anyway,
no, please.
So going into our next game,
if you want to play these games, like, just make sure you have a really good internet connection, because if not, then you're not gonna have a good time. That's my only recommendation.
Yeah, and then okay, really, really quickly. I know we mentioned this already, but I love it when indie games take a chance on the Switch. So Sifu, I think, is one of those like indie darlings of the PlayStation. A quote unquote Souls-like, which not really, but it's just really a really hard game. Amazing kung fu, really cool story. It's not that long of a game, but it has a lot of replayability.
It's not that Switch long, especially if you die a lot.
I mean, of course, like if you beat it perfectly, it's like a 3 or 4 hour game. But because you're gonna die a lot, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get your money's worth. But I'm just glad to see a game like Sifu making it to the Switch. I think it's awesome. I think it just opens the door for more people to play these games. It's great. Moving on, Crisis Core. I mean, for a Final Fantasy VII game in the Switch, I think, like, I know you can play the original Final Fantasy VII on the Switch. Obviously, you can't play the remakes. But Crisis Core, I believe, was a PSP game, if I remember correctly. Yes. And so
Vita,
having
Vita. No,
the Vita, yes, thank you.
One of the two.
Or one or the other. But it was part of the PlayStation portable games. Like if it was a Vita or a portable. So this is more of a if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you of course know about Crisis Core. If you're not a Final Fantasy fan, you may have skipped this when it came out back in the day. So this is really cool. This is really cool from Squaresoft to be releasing a remake of this game. I kind of want to play it. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII on my PlayStation. It's pretty great.
It is.
I've been playing Final Fantasy 12 on my Switch. It's pretty great. I've been playing Final Fantasy 7 or 6, sorry.
I didn't know you were playing Final Fantasy 12. We're going to have a separate conversation about that.
Yes, totally. I I need your help. But yeah, but I've been playing that, and I'm really enjoying the battle system so far. So all I gotta say is it was nice to see the trailer. I'm like, sweet, like this is cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have anything else to add, but any Final Fantasy stuff on the Switch is a plus.
It's exciting to see more Final Fantasy stuff on the Switch.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're adding Crisis Core, and if you're a fan and if you like the remakes, then yeah, this is a great way to continue that story and to add more to it. So I'm glad that Nintendo's getting this.
Again, moving rather quickly, Master Race should be here really soon. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. So I never played a Tales game. I do know that this one was originally came out on the PlayStation 2, right?
Yes, and I believe the GameCube as well.
Well, actually, yeah, probably the GameCube first and then the PlayStation. But let me just say that out of all the Tales games, this is the one that whenever I think Tales, this is the one I think of. And it's not necessarily because of I played it at all. I've never touched a Tales game, like I said. But there was something about the character design of this specific Tales game that is just incredibly memorable.
Yes.
And as much as it kind of scares me to play this game eventually, if I ever have the time, it's probably the only Tales game I would play, just because they're very much a time crunch, like not crunch, like they consume a lot of time. Yes. Like a complete remastered version of this game, that's pretty dope. Again, going back into like the back and forth between like the remakes, the remasters, and getting people to experience these older games. Like Tales is one of those games that I could easily see like 5 years from now, people would have been like, why haven't we gotten a remaster of this? So I'm glad that it's coming out. I'll definitely get it and give it a try. What about you? Like, I know you're more into JRPGs. Like, is this something that you would be playing, or?
So I actually never played Tales of the Abyss. The Tales game that I played was Tales of Graces on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say Tales, like they are fun JRPGs. They have really cool stories. And I do believe that having Tales of Symphonia on the Switch opens the doors for more Tales games to come to the Switch, because Tales of the Abyss is really good, and really big. Tales of Graces was really big, among other Tales games that have their very niche and very big following. And I think that the studio is taking a bit of an experimental route with bringing Symphonia into the Switch, and hopefully that'll pave the way for more Tales games to come to the Switch. The Switch is kind of a great console for JRPGs, I will say. Like, playing Xenoblade, it is a long JRPG, and being able to have it on Switch and having that accessibility and being able to take it wherever I want and like pause it wherever I want, like with the Switch menu and stuff, and not have to worry about like, oh no, like I can't save in the next hour, like I can't, oh no, like all those things kind of melt away when a game is on the Switch, because the Switch is that hardware made for portability. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that this game is coming. I'm probably going to wait for Tales of the Abyss to come to Switch to get a Tales game for my Switch. But I am glad that they're bringing it. And yes, the Tales game, that particular one does have really memorable characters, really just memorable character design. The main character with his red suit, his red outfit.
Yeah, it's just
and,
so
his
iconic.
spiky hair. Yeah, it's very iconic. So yeah, it's good. I do like that the Switch has kind of become this system where these like old school games get ported to. Like, I would have never thought that Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XII would come to the Switch. And here they are. And there's a bunch of other PS2 era games that have been like making it to the Switch, and I'm here for it. So I bring them in. Give us more. Let's do it. Yes.
Yeah. All right, and moving on. I think this will be the last game we talk about before Master Rain comes in. Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. If you've been part of this pod, I'm pretty sure or if you've heard old episodes of this pod, I'm pretty sure you've heard me mention how my wife loves Kirby games. There's only a few games that she'll play, and it's anything with Mario in it or anything with Kirby in it besides Super Smash. The trailer for this game looks incredible. I absolutely, it's really, really cute. I'm all for it. I think we need more Kirby games. And anytime they announce Kirby games, I'm all in. Mainly because for me, like, I have yet to play a game as good as the Crystal Shards from the Nintendo 64.
Oh.
That is, for me, one of the best Kirby games ever made. It is one of my top. If I make a list of top 20 games, it's definitely up there. For the sole purpose that it's a game that is easy to pick up, but it's a little hard to complete. It took time to beat, and it's a game just like Jeffers Gemini that you have to complete it in order to fully beat it. And I think Kirby's Return to Dreamland is a very, very promising game in regards to the future of Kirby.
Yeah, we got Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, for the 64, the emulator, the Virtual Console. We got Kirby 64 on the Virtual Console this year. We got Kirby Stream Buffet, which is like stupid cute and really fun. And we also got Kirby in the Forgotten Land this year. So like Kirby's been getting a lot of love, and it's exciting to see more Kirby. It's exciting that they're bringing this to the Switch. It looks beautiful, and and it looks charming, and that's the best part about Kirby. Like it's just really charming. It's really enticing. It's just, you see Kirby and you're just like, yeah, like this is cute. This is fun. Like when you pick up a Kirby game, at least for me, I know I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah. No, I think that's the thing about this game is like Kirby. If there's one thing Kirby does well is being a fun game and being accessible.
Yes.
And even like Crystal Shards, there were moments where it really got dark, and there were moments where like the music was very intense. But the accessibility of it was always like anyone could play it,
Yeah.
And I feel like ever since then, every Kirby game has been trying to capture that magic, and they've done it like a little bit. Like, they've done it well enough, and I think like Kirby Return to Dreamland is like a return to form. I know the previous game that released was pretty good. It had really good reviews.
Yeah.
So like. I think who was it? Johnny Boy, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, and please put it in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I think Johnny Boy mentioned that when he did play the last Kirby, and he did say like it was not as good as the Crystal Shards, but it was like almost there in terms of like the way it plays and the story and stuff like that. So, bottom line, more Kirby is good. It's one of those IPs that it just like it always feels like each generation of Nintendo will always have a Kirby game, and they always kind of fall behind the Marios and the Links and the Zeldas and all that. But like, there's been like a ton of Kirby games in the past like 10 years, and I'm just glad to see that that they sell well, that people really like the character, and that they keep trying to innovate. So looking forward to this one as well. I'm looking forward to a lot of games actually. I need to figure out when to play these.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing, making time for it.
Yeah. All right, so I think Master Rain's about to come back in, and we're gonna proceed to talk about the latest of the Legend of Zelda franchise. Ooh,
Yes.
and this one's so good. All right, so now that we talked about Kirby, let's go into what we really want to talk about: Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
dude, like, I'm still trying to beat Breath of the Wild, but the this last Zelda game, the amount of info we've gotten has been just enough for everyone, including myself, to be like, I want to see more.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly,
Oh yeah.
honestly, they are giving us like breadcrumbs, and we are living. We are
The
like
most
fully
minimum.
fed. We are full. We are like bloated even, and they are giving us like 3 breadcrumbs and like a side of water.
A little drop of water, and we are okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been this last trailer, although it's very minimal in terms of what we see, like a ton of clues all over the place. You can totally see what Nintendo's trying to do now with this sequel. I actually really like the name change.
Yes.
I
yes.
think Breath of the Wild 2 was kind of a
Bad
I mean, it
name,
was kind of
bad
awkward
idea.
for a Zelda game.
Yeah, bad
to be
idea,
honest.
Yeah.
I will say I never thought I don't think it was ever Breath of the Wild 2. I think they were just calling it the sequel to Breath of the Wild because they didn't want to reveal the name yet.
Good. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But anyway, so my only thoughts really on this game right now is I love the name. I like where it's going. It actually makes me want to beat Breath of the Wild as soon as possible. And I love the amount of cryptic symbols.
Yes.
So like
dude,
obviously
yes.
the most obvious one is the Ouroboros snake, right?
Big time. Mhm.
Yes.
Which I think goes really into the themes of this game, which it seems to be into like between life, death, and rebirth. Which, if we think about it, that's literally Legend of Zelda, right? Where it's like every generation or so, you have your own Ganon, you have your own Link, your own Zelda, and there's a constant like circle that keeps going and going, right?
Mhm.
And then
then-
like, go ahead.
And now that you mention that, actually, it does bring a big part. It does add into the lore of Breath of the Wild, where Ganon broke that cycle because, like, the rage and like the enmity that Ganon like bubbled up for so many generations broke that cycle of like life and rebirth, and Ganon just became like instead of becoming a person and being reborn, Ganon became like a concept. And like a demon, basically, like evil,
Like an entity.
like an entity.
Yeah.
It broke that cycle for itself just based on the pure hatred and malice that it like accumulated over so long. So interesting. I just made that connection from what you were saying, so now I'm just like
Yeah, dude. This
although
Link is definitely gonna die at the very end in order to like restart Hyrule, in order to like allow Legend of Zelda to be.
That is
no.
that is actually a pretty fascinating theory. That like, or maybe like, actually, I can't even ask like, is Zelda alive or dead, because I need to beat the other game.
she's in the trailer. She's in the very first trailer for Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, she is, right? Okay.
Yeah, she has short hair and everything.
So anyway, I think that's a very good point where it might be where the like Link and Zelda might like you said die in order to force that wheel to restart. I think that's actually a great theory, to be honest, and it'd be very interesting to explore how maybe they cope with that, because. I mean, the closest thing we've gotten to like a Link dying, as far as I know, is like Majora's Mask and Ocarina.
Oh, Twilight Princess.
Or even
And
Twilight Princess, yeah,
Yeah.
and Twilight Princess. And usually those games tend, like all 3 of those games are some of the darker games. in terms of themes, right? In Zelda, so like this one seems to kind of be marrying all those concepts, and it's like I'm just really excited to see how like these two characters will deal with that. And I know Link is kind of a, still your voiceless hero, but maybe this is the game where you kind of see this Link be a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more, not weak, but more of a character,
Well,
like I don't know.
More dimensional.
What do you think?
More dimensional.
Yes, thank
just
you,
like
thank
the
you.
hero.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. It's
And
like I'm the sword guy,
That's one thing about Breath of the Wild that they did add some characterization to Link where they addressed why he's mute and stuff. Hopefully you're able to get there eventually, but they do talk about like why he's mute, and like in the Japanese version of the game, all of the descriptions for items and stuff, it's actually told from Link's perspective. And so like your inventory is basically like Link's thoughts and like his and so like when it's like recipes and stuff, it's also like what he thinks about it, and it's all from his perspective. Meanwhile, in the English version, they changed it to a neutral voice.
Interesting.
Oh, whoa.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Okay.
This shit gets deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like, but I don't know. What do you think, Master Rain? I know you had a few thoughts regarding some of the symbols that they use in the trailer.
Well, you said them earlier.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. The life and death and rebirth.
But what are anything that you're excited for, Master Rain, regarding this? I mean, you're a lot more closer to The Legend of Zelda than probably any of us here. Anything you're looking forward to? Anything that gets you excited? I mean, besides just a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Well, you're definitely going to learn a lot about the history about Hyrule, a lot more for sure. I mean, you've seen a lot about the history of Hyrule for sure, but I feel like at this point with this game, they're gonna like definitely reveal a ton of the history of Hyrule. But it makes me feel like if they were gonna reveal a lot of history, I feel like what's gonna end up happening also is that it's gonna restart history. Because if they're revealing the past history of how all of the games connect, because I feel like that's what's going to happen in a sort of way, right? And somehow, right? Once that happens, I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to have like essentially Legend of Zelda restart, but in a new sort of way where maybe it's not exactly the quest of this hero, but a quest of certain peoples, or the hero. It's kind of like the Avatar, where the certain hero of Hyrule changes race. So maybe one day it'll be a Zora who picks up the Master Sword, and you'll get to be a Zora with the Master Sword. So I feel like that's how it could change into the future, which would be exciting to be a different race of instead of just like the regular elf human, right? Because then you'll have like powers of swimming and or whatnot, or be whatever race from Hyrule, right? Could be interesting, which is kind of explored in Majora's Mask, but just imagine taking that a little bit further, right? Imagine if you're always just put it any race. You're walking around as that race in Hyrule, and you're the one now with the Master Sword, and now it's your princess, not necessarily Zelda, but that's Zelda in a sense because she gets to have the Triforce of Wisdom. So kind of it would be an interesting way to restart a lot of the history of the game, right? And just kind of see certain things of like, for example, getting to see again, it's dangerous out there, take this with you, right? Like, I feel like I haven't seen that exact thing where you walk into a cave, there's a person with the sword there, and they're like, hey, there's monsters out there, it's dangerous, take this with you, which is such an iconic
to
thing.
Go alone, take this.
Wow, that's actually fantastic. That it made me think of the game very differently, let's put it that way.
That's very interesting, and I do like I do like that perspective. I do like to you know, with Breath of the Wild, they did break a lot of conventions. They did break a lot of like rules that Zelda had established for so many years, and so I'm interested to see like what other rules that this new game is going to break in itself, and like how the story might take a different direction in a way where, you know, as I mentioned earlier, like Ganon broke out of the cycle. What if this is a way for Link and Zelda to also break out of the cycle? But, you know, that might require for them to kind of become an entity as opposed to
as
like
a concept,
being alive.
Right?
Yeah, being concept.
Right. Whereas Link becomes a concept of the Master Sword itself. Zelda becomes a concept of the kingdom or something like that. You know, of the people.
Yeah, like the people of Hyrule or something.
Yeah.
That's a really damn, man. Can we play this now?
I know. Give it to me
know,
now.
dude. For real.
Give it to me now.
One thing I'm also very excited is a lot of the imagery and the symbols seem to be very like heavily inspired by Mesoamerican culture.
Yes,
And
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
And as like, you know, Latino people, it's just very exciting to see that facet of our identity to be like represented in video games, and I'm just excited to see more Mesoamerican like influences in a Zelda game, something that you like never really see.
Yes, dude, big time, dude.
One thing that's really cool is in Breath of the Wild, there is like a tropical forest area. I forget the name right now, but it's like in the south. Yeah, it's like on the south of Hyrule, and it's like a tropical rainforest and stuff. And there's a lot of imagery and a lot of ruins that look eerily similar to a lot of the symbolism that we've seen so far within the trailers. There's a lot of theories that the game itself is going to deal with is going to bring up some of those things, some of those ruins. If I'm not mistaken, if you're running around in Breath of the Wild and you get to that area, I believe it's called the Zonai ruins.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are you know, theorizing that the Zonai people are gonna be a big influence. I mean, you could just see it in the logo. When I see the logo, I see
clearly
like,
it's all there. Yeah,
Quetzalcoatl. I see like Mesoamerican stuff. Influences. So I'm very excited.
Which speaking in terms of like just a pop culture in general, it's really cool to see that in Black Panther and in Avatar. Which is honestly like I had no idea that like the Avatar language that they made up for the Na'vi is based on like one other language, Nawal, and something else, and I was like, oh snap, that's so cool.
Oh no way, that's amazing! I didn't know that was based on
Nawal. Side note, believe it or not, when he rides the final red dragon at the very end there, he's actually representing Quetzalcoatl completely. He is the winged serpent right there. Like,
oh my god.
Right, dude, right? We can go crazy in that, but we don't have to right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, let's leave it at that. Like, that takes us to the end of this of the last direct from Nintendo. I'm actually excited to go onto this next section where we're going to talk about the Super Mario movie.
Oh,
something I never thought I was going to be able to see.
My name is Mario. How are you, Luigi? I am Mario.
I wish I could do the Charlie Day voice just for this, but I can't.
This is the Charlie Day's high-pitched voice.
Mario.
I know. Oh, that was pretty good.
Dude.
I was definitely okay, so the only thing I told myself is, okay, Nintendo is working with Illumination Studios in order to make this movie. It's not just someone who wants to make a movie and has the license. You know, if the Sonic movies have taught us anything, is that when the creators work closely with the filmmakers, you get good shit. And
the Sonic movies are so good.
They're good.
Oh.
They're very good movies. I highly enjoy them. They're cheesy, but I don't care because they're a kid's video game movie. I'm not expecting these to be the next Citizen Kane. And
It's
so
Sonic
like
the Hedgehog. It's meant to be cheesy.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the trailer not only gave me more faith, it's like the colors looking gorgeous, the characters look amazing. Jack Black sounds amazing.
Also, the music, like just the orchestra version of the main theme, like just the little snippet of it that we got, like I'm probably gonna cry when I see this movie. Out
Maybe.
of disappointment,
Actually,
out of disappointment from Chris Pratt.
So the only thing is like Chris Pratt voicing Mario, I don't know how I feel about that yet. I think everyone else sounds pretty good. It's just I'm kind of with like we talked about this earlier, but I'm kind of with Xinna here, where it's like you have the Mario guy, the voice of Mario, and you go with a name actor, and I know they do this all the time. They did this they've done this. I remember with Hitman, like when the movies came out, everyone was like, "Why didn't you just use the actual actor who looks just like Hitman?" You know, like Agent 47. Like, it's the model.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
Right?
And he has the voice. And they went with, like, Timothy Olyphant. And then in the next movie with some other actor that... Anyway, it's just like... I get why theaters do that. But at the same time, it's like... Bro. You already...
Yes.
This is an animated Mario. It was too good. That man got screwed over. But... The trailer looks great. Everything looks great. I'm really excited for this movie.
Yeah.
And I think and you know what, like my hopes are up, but they're not like I'm dying to see it. I'm just like, you know what, this looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think I'm exactly there with you. Honestly though, if the voice was a little different though, I would be so much more like, oh, but I'm
Like more
it's
hype,
a little
yeah.
bit I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Just a little bit. A little bit. And honestly, his cheeks aren't thick enough, like Mario's. Just slightly
I concur.
slightly slim and flat there.
I will say, up until Mario opened his mouth and Chris Pratt's voice came out, and it wasn't even Chris Pratt doing a voice, it was just Chris Pratt. Up until that moment, I was like 100% on it. And then that happened. I was just like, okay, I am not as excited, but I am excited because of everything else. Jack Black did amazing. Homeboy has been voice acting for the Kung Fu Panda movies and for a bunch of other
Jack
movies,
Black's,
like for a very long time. So the man, he does voice acting. And that's my issue is that a lot of animated movies now they've been hiring actors when there are people who their career is voice acting and they're able to do all these voices. You know, the Tara Strong, the voice for, you know, the Powerpuff Girls, she's Raven from Teen Titans, she's Timmy Turner, like she is a voice actress. She has that range.
Yes.
She's able to manipulate her voice in a way that like all of them sound different. And that's what these people do. And the fact that like Charles Martinet, who not only has been voicing Mario for 40 years, but also voices characters in like Skyrim who sound completely different. I forget the name of the character right now, but Charles Martinet voices a character in Skyrim who, if you look at the character, you're like, I'm sorry, the Mario voice actor did this? Like, the man is a voice actor. And he has been doing Mario for so many years. Yes, do I understand that the wahoo, hello, like, yes, that would be a little grating after 2 hours, but
sure.
That's when you adapt the voice to still have those like little nuances and still be able to do a conversation. You know, so there's a big like, a lot of people have been showing support to Charles Martinet after the trailer, just being like, hey, like, the work that you do is amazing. You know, I'm sure I'm sure Chris Pratt is very excited to be in the Mario movie. Like, I'm sure that's a big thing for him and stuff. But
Exactly.
I'm just disappointed that they would do it for the name. They would do it to hire a name as opposed to hiring a voice actor and hiring the person who's been this character. And we all know Mario's voice. Like, that is one thing that it is a worldwide thing where people know the wahoo,
Literally.
because it's just iconic.
Literally international, dude. And that's the thing. It's just like, they didn't need to like size it up with like, oh, Chris Pratt's the voice of Mario. Like, no one cares, honestly. Like, it could have just been the regular guy who's doing the voice. No one is gonna go to the theater, in my opinion, just because Chris Pratt's doing the voice. They're just doing it because, oh yeah, you can. In my opinion, oh yeah, you can totally put the name Chris Pratt. It's such a big name. Jurassic Park, Guardians of the Galaxies. Wow, we're not even looking at him. Like, in my opinion, who cares, right? And Xinna, you had said something earlier about the trailer. If you want to mention that again real fast for everyone, definitely mention that right now for sure, because that was really interesting about the languages.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of people. Let me start again. I have seen a lot of trailers for the Mario movie in different languages. It has been brought up to me actually because the voice actors for different languages have been kind of adding that Mario-ness to it. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been sharing the French trailer for the Mario movie because the French voice does like is able to have that conversation with Toad and still kind of have the inflections that make it feel more Mario. And then also in Latin American Spanish, a lot of the Mario voice sounds just more like a voice actor.
Yeah,
it sounds like someone who's studied the voice of Mario and is like, okay, I'm going to do it in a way where you can recognize that it is Mario without it being like a high pitch whoo every single time.
Yeah. So when you had mentioned that earlier, I was like, we need to watch this trailer in Spanish. And so Silly and I watched it. Silly, did you have any like, what were your thoughts after you saw that trailer? After you saw it like in Spanish?
I want to see it in Spanish. Like, watching it in Spanish made me realize that because I'm not familiar, like, I've only heard Mario in English, right? We've only heard Mario with his quote-unquote English voice. For me, it's more believable hearing someone else do a Spanish voice because I've never heard Mario speak Spanish, you know?
Yep.
And so, I don't know, like, watching that trailer made me think, like, I wasn't like, ugh. I was more like, oh, you know?
Yeah. That was a reaction that I had as well. I was just like, wait a minute, this is actually kind of good. And I wrote this down earlier. I was like, Mario in English, all I see is Chris Pratt's face, like in Mario.
Yeah.
No difference, right? There's really no difference in the animation. But I see it in Spanish, and I'm like, I'm looking at Mario. It's just something about the way he's doing the voice. It's just like, you gotta sound more cartoony almost, and it's just like trying to sound more like an actor, like a good actor, you know. And he's like, whoa, where are we? Like,
yeah, it just sounds like Chris Pratt speaking into a microphone. It just sounds like his normal speaking voice, maybe with like a little. Maybe he did try some sort of inflection or enthusiasm, but from that trailer, I did not get it. You know, Magic Koopa was great. Like, Jack Black as Bowser sounds phenomenal. Very just you hear it and you're like, wow, this sounds good. Even is it Key or Peele who's doing Toad?
I don't know.
It was I thought it was
Jordan Peele.
I thought it was Jordan Peele.
Okay,
Was it
sorry.
Michael
Okay,
K?
let me try again. Even Jordan Peele doing Toad, it sounded like Toad. Like you can kind of hear a little bit of Jordan Peele in it, but it makes it funny. Like he does have more experienced voice acting, but he's still able to kind of like have that inflection where it's like you hear that and you're like, yeah, that is Toad. Meanwhile,
right.
when you hear Mario, you're just like, that's Chris Pratt. You don't hear, oh wow, that's Mario, or that's Chris Pratt playing Mario, like, oh yeah, like that's believable. You just hear Chris Pratt, like
to me it honestly breaks the illusion just a little bit.
Yes,
right?
It does. And also, I'm gonna be a little petty. The fact that he says Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, like they couldn't just do Mushroom Kingdom, here we go, like.
Oh,
Mario!
bro,
one of Mario's
wow, good point, dude.
One of Mario's taglines is "Here we go." Mario's like, "Here we
go,
here
we go." Yeah, no, seriously.
Hello.
Seriously. And now something else that in Spanish that you had noticed, as in it was like when Bowser was about to fight those penguins. In English, he's just like I think, like he says, I think not, to what the penguins say or whatever. But in Spanish, he's just like, how cute is basically what he's saying. And it's like,
yes,
whoa, that is so much better, like a Bowser, in my opinion. It just seems like nothing's in his way, just like how cute, instead of like, you know, like oh, I'm gonna face you kind of Bowser. And so because he knows he's powerful, Bowser knows like he's gonna crush, right? So yeah, I mean, honestly, like we're gonna figure out a way to watch this one in Spanish.
I am very like, yeah, I saw that and I did like the choice for Bowser to say how cute to the penguins. It was very condescending. It was very like, anyway, that was fun. I'm gonna wreck your shit now.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Exactly.
And in a completely different, like, not completely different, but like in a I guess like a parentheses or like a sidebar for that.
Yeah.
I do like when different languages take those kind of liberties. I have noticed that like in Latin American Spanish translations, they do take a lot of liberties and stuff to make it a little more relatable, but also to kind of add a little more fun or nuance to the character. For example, I think Silly Squirrel can attest to this. For the Emperor's New Groove, Yzma in Latin Spanish has a lot of lines that kind of relate to Latin American culture, and also there's that one part where she wakes up, and in the English version, in the English movie, she says like, "This has better be good." Meanwhile, in the Spanish version, she says, "Estaba soñando con Ricky," which translates to "I was dreaming with Ricky," like Ricky Martin.
Oh my gosh, so good.
And I remember watching the movie in English for the first time. Like I was like in college. I was like living in the States, and I remember seeing Emperor's New Groove in English for the first time, and I'm like, it's not as funny as the Spanish one, because in Spanish they went that extra mile to add like nuances.
Amazing.
All right. No, that was fantastic, guys. Thank you again so much, Xinna, for being here with us. That was a phenomenal episode. Cannot wait for everyone to hear it. And again, Xinna, I think your perspectives on Nintendo and their brand and a lot of the nuances, like you just did, have been an absolute joy to hear. Thank you so much. And thank everyone for joining us. Remember to follow us on our social media. That is Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. You know it.
You know them.
Also, just check the links below on the descriptions of the pod. And again, remember to leave us a comment on YouTube or on our or give us a review on the podcast sites.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, thank you again so much. So now, you got any last words, guys?
Not at the moment. Just thank you guys so much. Make sure to stick around. Definitely watch our future podcast, because we hopefully will have some more coming out this year for sure. For sure. And then obviously stick around for our streams as well, because we'll still be streaming for sure.
And thank you very much for having me. It was absolute pleasure to chat with y'all and have a really cool conversation about like Nintendo stuff. And if y'all ever want to talk more Nintendo, I am here.
Dude, we gotta do that Zelda podcast.
let me know. I am down for the Zelda podcast. Like, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute blast.
Awesome.
Thank
It's
you,
been our
Xinna.
pleasure. This is Silly Squirrel and Master Rein signing out.
Peace, everybody.
And remember, never stop reviving.
Never stop reviving. Take care, everybody.
Ooh, how fun. Am I getting paid for this?